welcome to the Science Faction Podcast, where science meets fact meets fiction.
This is Science Faction for the week of August 3rd, 2026. I'm one of your hosts, Stephen Dominguez, and with me today, two individuals, some of which have watched movies and some of which haven't.
Hi, I'm Benjamin Daniel Lawless. I watch movies all the time.
I'm Devin Kraft. I've watched movies, but not the right movies.
He's
Incorrect.
probably watching movies right now.
What's it like to watch all the Star Trek movies at one time, Devin? That reminds me, I saw something, I don't know, YouTube, Instagram, wherever, where it was like all episodes of the Clone Wars playing at the same time on top of each other. And I was like, what?
Oh, that sounds fun.
Why? But they all start the same way with the same music, right? Dun, da, 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 and it's, you know, the Clone Wars thing shrinks and then a quote pops up. And then when the quote pops up, it was all the quotes. It was just a big blur of blue. And then all the episodes started proper, and it was just like, blah, 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 blah. You know, it's just a chaos of noise. And I was like, oh, why did people make this? Why am I watching this? That's the way of nerddom, I suppose. Anyways.
That's crazy. And that reminds me, I know we weren't going to talk about this,
Doesn't matter.
I came across last night, one of my favorite YouTube channels is called All Trek is Good Trek. And he had this neat little 10-minute long video called The 6 Enterprise Movies. And it was an interesting retrospective on season 4 of Star Trek Enterprise and how there were 4 arcs that were essentially you could consider them, or 6 arcs in the 4th season of Enterprise. You can consider each one of them a movie, and he ranked them as such, which was pretty rad.
Cool.
Yeah.
Neat.
Yeah.
Well,
speaking of movies,
let's hit it hard. Let's go, because so this weekend something happened that hasn't happened for a very long time for my wife and I, and that is we got to, 1, go to the movies to see a movie we wanted to see, and 2, we got to do it twice in one weekend.
Oh dang.
Oh dang.
Oh, so she attended a Spider-Man movie?
Yeah. We've been watching MCU movies, for the past 20 years.
How did doing it twice leave room to go see a movie? Bad joke.
Good night, everybody.
Very quickly.
I mean, when you got 30 seconds a shot, that's only a minute that you're behind. So it's very easy to go watch a movie afterwards. I guess I got to bleep out all of that. I'm not going to. The Odyssey. So we went to see Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey on Friday, and then we went and saw Spider-Man Brand New Day on Saturday.
Right on.
So let's first talk about The Odyssey. We're going to talk about Spider-Man Brand New Day in the second half, because I want to dive a little deeper into that one. So this is going to be a little Ben, you saw The Odyssey as well, correct?
No, I didn't. But
I thought you did. But sorry.
It's an interesting thing, right? Because I've seen a bunch of reactions online where it's like, dude, no spoilers. And it's like, it's been out 2,000 years.
Yeah. Longer. Yeah.
Right. And then other people are like, I'm not sure it's historically accurate enough. It's like, bro, they have gods and monsters.
Historically accurate. Okay.
Yeah,
So what I think is wonderful that addresses kind of both of those things right off the bat is that the movie presents itself as a fairy tale almost. It has this ephemeral quality about it. There's also lots of in a typical Chris Nolan fashion, he does some time stuff, but it is more interesting ways to do flashbacks, but keep consistent storytelling. So we get the the Trojan horse, right, going into Troy. We get to see parts of that. We get to see all bits of the Odyssey, but a lot of Odysseus's Odyssey is kind of told via unreliable narrator that is a forgetful Odysseus himself. Like the whole way that the movie is structured, it lends the fantastical parts to feel very real just because of the story structure, and the way that just the way the movie is. Like, it's so good. The way that it was constructed. Also, another way that it starts is with somebody telling a story about Odysseus in an interesting way. It starts off with like a dude, like you hear like pounding, like a staff is being pounded on the ground like 4 times. It's very rhythmic. Boom, 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 boom. And then he like says a line, and then boom, 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 boom. And he says a line, and it's very theatrical. This whole movie almost feels like a stage play. Like you could take this script, hand it to a theater troupe and be like, here, do this, like it to the best of your ability, and it would still be just as good. It feels like. So yeah, just from a film point, this thing's going to win all the awards. It should win all the awards. It is such an artistic rendition of the story. And it's, how long is it? I don't remember that's another thing. I don't remember how long it was. It didn't matter because it was good the whole time. I think it was like a 3-hour movie. I want to say like almost 3 hours. I know Brand New Day was 2.5 hours. Maybe this one was like 2:45 or something, maybe closer to 2:50. I don't know. So the internet knows, but I don't.
How would you feel about bringing back intermissions? Because I mean, these movies are too damn long.
This movie would have been great with an intermission. It would have fit because it felt like a play almost. Some movies just like, so that's funny. At the end of the movie, Martine leans over and goes, "I really gotta pee." And she stood up and she was like, "Ow, it all hurt." Like her bladder was causing her so much pain. She almost had to like waddle to the bathroom. Like, I was like, did you make it in time? She was like, "Yeah, I made it in time." But yeah, it's, I mean, you have to, knowing how long the movie is and preparing snack wise is important for some of these movies.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Like after Brand New Day, like my knees were creaking.
Your knees
out of those seats. I'm like, oh no, my 40s now.
So also what was kind of funny is after we saw The Odyssey, I was like, oh wow, I can't wait to see most of those actors in Brand New Day tomorrow. Because it has Tom Holland, it has John Barenthal, it has Zendaya. Who else? It's funny. It's just those actors.
Yeah, how was the Stan Lee cameo in Odyssey?
Oh, it was great. Yeah, they just showed a corpse. I mean, there is one point where in the story of the Odyssey, spoilers, where he travels to the underworld to talk to dead soldiers. And the way that they handled that was awesome. Because there's some like super fantastical elements, but they play them off like I said, in a very ephemeral way of like, we have to sail to where the ice meets fire, and then they just show him sailing, and then he's in this like really misty land with big flat black beaches almost, and then the dead like crawl out of the ground, and I heard that for that scene they buried people, and that was them really crawling out of the ground, which was amazing. Wow. The movie is full of just visual excellence the whole way through. Matt Damon, of course, stellar performance from him. Anne Hathaway as well, and I don't remember any of their names. It's all, this thatis and whatever. So anyways, I highly, highly, highly recommend it. If you're like, I really wish that there was an IMAX theater around here to see it, because some scenes I was like, wow, if this was bigger, it would look better. So if you have that opportunity, if you have that chance, go see The Odyssey in IMAX. If not, go see it in theaters. If not, See it when you can, because it's worth it.
Do we have an IMAX theater anywhere near us?
Not anywhere near us, no.
And we have one in town, so I guess if we see it, we should see it on IMAX.
I would recommend it.
Must be nice.
Yeah, we saw Dune. We saw both Dune movies there, I think.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, cool.
And just like the whole movie was shot in IMAX as well. So like, it's not like just one cool scene is going to be like blown up. It's the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it was filmed that way. It's great. So yeah, from me, highly recommend The Odyssey. See it in IMAX if you can. If not, go to the theater and see it. If you know the story of The Odyssey, still worth it. It's like, oh, I've read this. I don't need to see the movie. Go see the movie. Go see the movie. It's worth it.
Have you read it?
I have read it. I read it like
Okay.
25 years ago. I think I read it in high school at some point, or at least parts of it, because I remember reading it.
I have an illustrated volume that I had read to Flint just about maybe 5-6 years ago, and it came along with an illustrated version of the Iliad. And I had started with the Iliad, but then when I got to the extreme violence and sexual violence in the Iliad, I was like, you know what? We're skipping this. Let's go to the Odyssey.
But all of the fantastical elements are amazing. The one that's the first one that you come across is the Cyclops. And I got to tell you, that whole sequence reminded me of music video, rock music videos in the 90s. Like there was some element about it, some grittiness, there was something where I was like, afterwards, like, hey, Martine, when the Cyclops came out, like when that scene was going on, did you like, I kind of wanted like Pearl Jam to be playing in the background or like Nine Inch Nails or something. Like it fit that vibe. That whole scene was outstanding. It was crazy. I loved it. I really did. That's awesome. Yeah, I really dig it. So that's my little review of The Odyssey. Go see it in IMAX if you can.
Oh, neat. I saw a really good film this week. Contact. I watched it with Contact.
The Carl Sagan movie?
The Carl Sagan, Jodie Foster, had Sam Seaborn from The West Wing in it. It had Matthew McConaughey. It had,
all right.
Yeah, which and so like, you know, basically kind of following along with my son really enjoying hard sci-fi. This is it. You guys is so good, and I know that Stephen, as you've brought up, that it seems like all of my favorite movies I've been watching recently have been from the 90s. It's like, well, yeah, start making the good movies again, Hollywood.
That's funny. So we played on Saturday night. We played a game we have. It's a Blockbuster game, so it's all about movies and movie quotes and acting out movies.
Yeah.
And then so Jen and I we kind of were the most knowledgeable about movies, and we were on the same team. But we got to thinking about other movie quotes. We did, yeah. So on yesterday, we were reading movie quotes to each other and seeing if we knew what they were. And we realized they're like all the movie quotes are from like the 80s, 90s, maybe early 2000s. But when it came to the 2010s and, you know, especially the 2020s, they're like, there weren't really any good movie quotes. A lot of them were from superhero movies, which is to be expected. And then a lot of them were kind of like generic, like, hey, look over there. Like, yeah, like I'm like, oh, that's not really.
I am Iron Man. Oh, okay. That's what movie's that from?
That was one of them.
Yeah, I figured.
So I thought that too. Like, is it just my perception of not being my age, so I don't watch movies that much, or is it just because nobody watches like the same movie and over and over anymore because you have so much choice to watch other stuff? But or is it just being written to where they're not quotable as much anymore? But
there's not a monoculture,
you
know, as much anymore, you know. But it was interesting watching Contact because I realized I hadn't seen it since it first came, like since I first rented it, and then number two, like, hadn't read the book and didn't remember anything but the end. And yeah, what an incredible movie. I think that it's very fascinating, Matthew McConaughey's performance in it, especially given it's kind of the exact opposite of his character in Interstellar. You know, because he plays a
creature,
essentially a godly man that's like very got the ear of the president of the United States and is, you know, but like context all about like where does humanity with all of our foibles fit in the context of what we would perceive an intergalactic society to be, you know? And how do we prepare for that? What are we afraid of? And like it explores it in such incredible, you know, incredible ways. And so, yeah, man.
Was
like,
it Devin? Was that
was
that in the book? Was that character doing that stuff in the book?
Oh man, I don't remember that particular character. He probably was, because that does seem like something Carl Sagan would do, to have someone to talk about like different aspects of, you know, what it would mean to humanity to find alien life. The book, you know, like any book that goes into more detail, and what an interesting change in the book, I think they send like multiple crews, or not multiple crews, but there's like a crew of people at the end who go on the ship with her rather than her just being alone.
Okay.
Huh. Yeah.
And then there's one part at the end of the book I always remember. So it's a spoiler because it's not in the movie. And I don't actually remember how it comes up necessarily in the book, because it doesn't really relate to the plot except for the overall themes. But they discover that humanity has finally calculated out pi to a certain, you know, crazy decimal point. And you get to the point where it's just like ones and zeros. And if you put it in like a 10 by 10 grid, it makes a circle. So it's like whoever or whatever like created the universe put a message in the fabric of the universe for you know, people to find once they got enough technology.
Yeah. Rad.
Okay. That seems weird to me. I mean, like, I'm going to create this universe, but I'm going to put this special little Easter egg for just the smartest of my creation to find. Like, what?
Huh?
I guess.
I haven't read the book in a long time, so I don't remember.
So there might be more meaning behind it than just that.
But I still think, I mean, even without that, I could probably justify it just as in, yeah, like it's kind of like the prime directive. Like you wait till society is technologically advanced enough to interact with them.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, like you have to develop on your own without knowing that. And it doesn't say like it's God or whatever. You know, it could be anything. But I think it kind of makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
fair enough.
Yeah, it felt like I was watching a Stephen Baxter movie, right? Like all the stuff that I really appreciate about Stephen Baxter, the Stephen Baxter novels I've read. It's just like that in a movie. I'm like, oh, this is so good.
Hard sci-fi, man. Hard sci-fi. It's good stuff. So did your son watch it for the first time? What was his reaction?
Yeah, he loved it. He was like, that was really good.
Did he have any problem with the rocket science in it? Was he double checking the math as you were watching?
Well, there's not really any rocket science in it.
Yeah, there were points where he was like, how is this gonna work? Like, because this doesn't look like it's gonna work at all. and they addressed that in the film. Was it
the seat? I really like that's the big thing I remember from Contact is they were like, there's no seat in it. And they're like, bolt the seat on. And then when she's in there, the seat's like shaking like crazy, and then it just like pops off, and she's like, "Oh, I can just float in here. It's fine."
Well, she actually like in the movie, she is like, "Hey, this didn't come with instructions for a seat. We shouldn't have one because if it wasn't part of the instructions, like we shouldn't have one there." And she gets kind of talked down from that, and they're like, "We are placing like stuff that we know about humanity." You know, like human biology into here in order to ensure your safety. Like that is what we are going to do. And she's like, no, they would know, you know, she has her own, like her faith goes a particular way. And yeah.
I mean, if you're an alien race going like, hey, I'm going to send out some stuff, and I don't know what kind of form factor it's going to meet, well, then you account for that and go, oh, well, it can be anyone because you're just going to be inside a ball, and so it doesn't matter what your shape is, and you'll be fine.
Right. Or yeah, and I actually think like it's better that personally, I'm like, yeah, scientists, like we should adapt this because there's no way that this alien race would have understood our biological needs. Mm-hmm. Like they're just sending out a signal, you know? So like adapting it to human biology is perfectly reasonable. You know, but yeah, anyhow, I definitely recommend it. It is super good. It has a lot of actors in it that you recognize. It has a lot of interesting parts with like Bill Clinton through it.
What?
That was,
okay. Yeah, I forgot about that.
They used the footage from when he announced the possible finding of life on Mars from the 90s. They used that footage for the movie.
Oh.
Yeah, and they kind of adapt it to the story. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
Sure. It was anyhow, super cool. Loved it. You know, go see it. See it in the theater if you can. See it in IMAX if you
can. Go see Contact in IMAX.
I was looking through the plot summary on Wikipedia about the book. So Palmer Joss, I think, is the character we were talking about. He is in the book. So the thing I was talking about with Pi, apparently it's the person she meets with when she goes on the journey. Mm-hmm. I guess her dad. I don't know if does it present as her dad in the book? I don't know. But it says, so when she gets back to Earth, she runs a program computing pi to unprecedented lengths. Before results emerge, her mother dies, leaving a final letter revealing, Ted is Ellie's biological father, whatever. But when Ellie examines the program's output, she finds a circle formed from zeros and ones after 10 to the 20th power in Pi's base 11 representation, evidence of her journey. Okay, so they told her if you do that, you'll get this result, and she can prove like, oh, hey, they told me to do this, and I did it, and it got this result. But also, what does that mean about the universe if you can do that with pi and it has a message in it or some, you know? I guess it could be a coincidence. I guess it could just be coincidence.
So if I'm remembering correctly, my contact lore, she's in the ball, it drops into this thing that's spinning, and from everyone else's point of view, she just drops straight through. But for her, she goes on a trip. So that explanation of pi was her way of saying, like, no, I went there. I did a thing, even though you didn't see me do a thing. The alien told me this. Now that I'm back on Earth, I did the thing, and it's this. So that was like her proof of I actually went and did a thing.
Right, and that's different than in the movie. In the movie, the gist is that, like, it's a lot about faith. Like, you know, one of the reasons why she is initially not accepted to go on this trip is because she doesn't believe in a god, and how could we send someone out that represents humanity if 95% of the human race in the 90s believes in a god, and we're sending someone out that doesn't, you know? And so eventually she does go, and when she comes back, she thinks that she's been gone for 11 hours or 18 hours or whatever. And they're like, well, but you just fell through. Like, that's it. And she's like, but I had an experience of all this time. And they're like, are you now saying that we should take what you're saying on faith? And, you know, and so it's just it's a fascinating little thing.
Well, and they do the thing where there's video. She has a video recorder in the pod with her, but it just shows static. And at one point, someone says like, "Yeah, but it recorded 11 hours of static."
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Yep, there you go. And they're not willing to announce that.
Release that,
yeah. So funny.
So anyway. I got one more thing to talk about, but I'm going to leave it up to you guys. Which one? Do we talk about the X-Men cartoon or the Rick and Morty cartoon? Which one you guys?
It's a toss up for me.
Toss up for you, Devin. Do you have a?
I don't. I haven't seen either.
Guys, give me something. One of them. Pick one.
I mean, you're X-Men. Let's go
X-Men. Great.
Because why not?
So
Right?
X-Men.
That'll relate to talking about the movie later.
It might. So X-Men 97 season 2 still going strong. That's great. I'm not really going to talk about that too much, other than I was sitting around with my kids. They were annoying me, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to watch this episode of X-Men 97 because I want to watch it. So I put it on, and the kids were immediately like, "What's this?" And I was like, "Just sit and watch." We got about halfway through the episode, and they were like, "This is awesome." And I was like, "I know, right?" And they're like, "Who's this? What's that?" Like, they started asking questions, starting to get invested in it. And I was like, all right, guys, so let me explain this to you. This is X-Men 97. There was an X-Men cartoon when I was a kid, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, oh, wow, can we watch that? And I was like, the animation is going to be very different. And I was like, but we can put it on and check it out. They're like, yeah, great. So Disney Plus has the classic X-Men cartoon on there that ran from 92 to 96. And so we watched part 1 and part 2 of Night of the Sentinels, the first 2 episodes of X-Men. With Jubilee, with all of them. I mean,
with all of them. And Morph. Oh my gosh.
Oh man, the way Morph laughed. They're like, why does he laugh like that? I was like, I don't know. He goes, like that was his like signature thing. And then and Morph dies. Like, oh, Morph, and so I think they connected with it. Because there was Storm and Rogue played a big part in those episodes, and so whenever they see female representation in something like this, they latch on to that, obviously, and so they're like, oh wow, they have got powers, and of course Jubilee is just exploring her powers, and afterwards, like immediately they were like, I want to have this kind of power. Oh, maybe I'll have this kind of power. Like they immediately started like X-Men pretending. And I was like, this is awesome. So, that was really cool. Like that was something from my childhood that I haven't gotten a chance to share yet with them. And it's fun to see like a positive reaction come out of it. Because it's X-Men, man. X-Men's for everyone. X-Men is for teens about to go through puberty. And we might have one of those. Not a teen yet, but kids are growing up. So and that's going to dovetail nicely when we talk about Brand New Day later. Spoilers. So let's go ahead and take a little break, and when we come back, we're going to start hitting with Future or Now. And
now.
We've all got stuff to talk about. So we'll be right back. Hey, you. Yeah, you sitting there listening to this for free, like some kind of podcast freeloader. Look, I'm not saying you owe us, but if you enjoy our deep dives into AI, space, and comic book mayhem, maybe toss a coin to your podcasters. Join our Patreon, get into our Discord, grab some exclusive content, and finally achieve that deep, satisfying sense of superiority over your non-Patreon listeners. Just imagine their sad, uninformed little faces. Patreon.com/Science Faction Podcast, because knowledge is power, and power is best hoarded behind a paywall. And we're back.
Heyo.
Hello.
Hi.
And a big thank you to our patrons, Renee and Josh. What else can I say that hasn't been said over 100 times now?
It's been a very long time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right. Well, now it's that time again where we do some Future or Now.
Now, Stephen.
Now. Well, Ben, why don't you tell us some stuff? Is it future or is it now?
Oh my gosh. Well, this would be now. So I came across a hat tip to, across like a Hacker News, came across this blog post by, oh gosh, what is this guy's name? Blinry.org.
Okay.
And this guy, looking at the about, this is you know what? I have no idea who this guy is, but he's a guy from Germany, and he talked about the state of multiplayer Wayland. Now,
what?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, let's just break this down. Here's the idea. What if you had multiple mice attached to one computer and multiple mouse cursors inside of one desktop environment?
Oh, okay.
What would that look like?
I was imagining little mice in jars with like their brains connected to a computer. Not those kind of mice.
Not those kind of mice. We're talking about the
hand mice.
The input devices that you use to connect to a computer.
Got it.
And the kind of idea being like, what could computing be like? Why would you want that? And I mean, recently, kind of famously, we have multiple mice support on the Nintendo Switch 2, where each one of the controllers, you can pop them out and they go into mouse mode, but you could have two of them. And there's a couple of games that do use two mice like that. Like there's a game where you're, I guess, playing dodgeball, but you're in wheelchairs. And it's kind of interesting, but like, part of the maneuverability has to do with using both of the controllers in mice mode and moving them.
Huh.
But like, well, what would it mean if you had two different mice or even two different keyboards, And so a couple of different ideas here is, why would you even want this? It could be convenient for pair programming, where one person, like you have two people working on something, and one person can fix a bug in one window while the other person is browsing documentation.
Okay.
It could be fun for games. Using multiple controllers is the norm. Why not multiple mice? And this kind of reminds me a lot of some of my favorite multiplayer experiences on the Wii, where you had a cursor, multiple players with cursors that would point at the TV and do different things.
Did the Wii have a maximum? Was it 4, or could you connect more?
I think it was 4.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm not sure that there was any software that did more than 4. The Wii U had a maximum of 5 because they would assume that you could have one player play on the big like touch screen.
They also assumed that you had 4 friends.
Which, I mean, if you had a Wii, of course you had 4 friends, right?
I'm talking about the Wii, but the Wii U, it assumes that you have 4 separate friends.
Yeah, no, and that era did not, big stretch. But yeah, and so like you could have this style of multiplayer computing, which would facilitate collaboration inside of applications without the need for complicated synchronization algorithms, the kind of algorithms that happen over the course of like multiple people over a network. Like, no, same computer, and so like this was just such an interesting thing to me. And so like as a concept, that's really cool. But this blog post goes one further and takes a look at different software that's available for Linux, and how, like, what the current state of the support for multiple cursors in different different like Wayland would be one type of compositor. And so this article goes through and says like, okay, well, what is it that they would do? How well do they work now? How much tinkering do you need to do with Linux? Because you can tinker with all this stuff and write your own extensions in order to support what you want to have done. And I just thought it was really interesting, like what could be done. And once this, like, whether or not this is useful now, I don't know. I mean, like, it would be really interesting in terms of teaching a young kid how to use a computer, or really anybody.
What's the difference between this and connecting through a network to multiple computers?
Well, okay. So, for example, one thing that in a previous life, I was running a computer lab in a low-income housing neighborhood,
Okay.
and so there was a couple of times where members of the community had set up some time with me so that I could teach them the ropes of how to use computers to accomplish their tasks. Well, one person that I was working with, uh, she was blind, just had very, very, very low vision.
Okay.
And so what we had done was, like, I sat down at a computer terminal with her, and I had turned on all of the accessibility settings that were present in, I think we were using Windows XP at the time.
Oof.
So, like, heavy on the high contrast mode, fonts and cursors being as large as possible. And even with all of that, she would have her nose up to the screen, like pressing into the screen, looking, trying to keep an eye on where the cursor was and what was going on.
Oh, wow.
And oftentimes her hand would move faster than her head would, and so she would lose her place. So a lot of where we were working, just the accessibility was not there. But if I had multi-cursor support in that moment, then I could have had the ability to course correct, move the cursor to where she was looking, while still allowing her to have the freedom of movement to control and change things.
Okay.
So from a teaching perspective, that would be super cool. Like, to have,
yeah, totally.
So, I mean, that's just one thing. Or, you could have multiple windows. Yeah, I guess, like, I suppose why something could be augmented quite a bit the further you get into building the thing, right? Having the accessibility of this sort of system could open up a lot of different ways that we can use computers in a collaborative way. We're always talking about, computing being such a solitary thing and only nerds in basements do it. But what if you had a friend over and it wasn't just, one person at a time controlling it? What would that do for computing?
Yeah, it's an interesting concept for sure, but it also feels like it has very specific use cases. But those specific use cases are like, yeah, this could really help. That's awesome.
Yeah. I guess both of you guys, I've got a pretty techno-literate son, just because he and I live in the same place, and he likes computers, but mostly for gaming. How's the techno literacy of the children in your household? How's that going?
iPads. That's about the limit, and then the Chromebook from school for the older one. So, like, they're familiar with, how programs work, that things need to be connected to an internet somehow. They're not super literate or even kind of interested in learning more at this time. That's how my kids are.
All right. Yeah.
Devin?
So we, I have that gaming computer that is at my work desk. It's like, I have an L desk and I have my work computer on the long end of it with two screens and my laptop. And then I have my gaming computer next to it, which I never use anymore. So just last weekend, we moved it downstairs to the piano room so that the kids could use it, but use it in a place that's open, because, we don't want them doing anything we wouldn't like. Yeah. Not that they would know that that's even an option yet, but, in the future.
Right. You don't want them to be like what you were doing.
In your teens. And also, it wouldn't be possible to use that computer while I'm working, because literally it's the same space for the chair. Like, the reason I set it there is because I can just move, like, spin my chair 90 degrees, and be working on a different computer. So it wouldn't make sense for someone else to be trying to use that while I was working. So we moved it downstairs. Nolan's been using it because I signed up for Code Monkeys. There's a lot of different programs online. This one, it's like, it makes it a game to learn how to code. So you go through the lessons and then you get to make your own games, and it has challenges for, program it so that it does this. So he's been doing some of that. He's done some of that before on other programs. He was using Scratch Junior for a while.
I mean, he's got the creating Super Mario levels, and that's you have to think like a programmer to do that stuff properly. So that's cool.
Yeah, no, that's the kind of stuff he does. He doesn't really like general computer knowledge. Like, I don't think he really gets yet. I mean, I haven't really taken the time to explain it. Just about like, there's programs on the computer, but there's programs only available online, and if you're on a browser or you're downloading a program. It just hasn't been that big of a deal because they have, up until a week ago, they have just been using iPads and things where everything is just kind of intuitive and you don't really need to know the background of what's going on. So I think they'll get more into that. And part of what inspired doing that last weekend was Elliot has been playing piano. He has a piano app he follows, and he's been doing really good at learning piano. And we decided, we're like, well, he should probably have like a person who's, trained to teach piano to kids, teaching him at least once a week. So we signed him up for piano lessons, which he's going to start this week. But he also has acting classes. He just had a play on Saturday, and he does gym or gymnastics. And Nolan is just kind of like not the kind of person who wants to do all that extracurricular stuff. So we're like, well, he liked programming, so we should do something like that. That's why we moved the computer downstairs so he could use it. So we're like, we want him to do other stuff. We'll sign him up for things. But usually when we sign him up for stuff, he's like, I don't want to go. The day comes to like, oh, it's time to go to gymnastics. And he's like, I just want to stay home. So we're trying to find things that he would enjoy for extra.
Yeah. You got yourselves activities. An introvert and an extrovert. So you've got.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Another thing though. Sorry, I just reminded this with Nolan.
Sure.
We did a game of No Thank You Evil last week, and he was the game master.
Oh,
so he came up with I kind of helped him. He came up with a story, and he was the one who led the game, and I helped him like, oh, maybe we should do this, or remember this part of the story we wanted to do. So, yeah, it's pretty cute. I have pictures of him with it all set up and things.
That's awesome, dude. You got yourself a GM. That's great.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to have to worry about drugs. You're going to have to worry about rule books and dice. And
that's fine, yeah.
Yeah, the well, actually. Let's kind of coming back to this article.
Yes.
There's an interesting. So if you scroll down, there's quite a bit through the article. There's a section called Love Physics Playground. And so the author of the article had basically taken this multi-cursor support and put it into a physics a physics game engine that he had modified, so that two mouse cursors could pick up and grab blocks and have them kind of have physical properties and move them around, and so it's one way where you could use two cursors to kind of stabilize the blocks and move them around as if you've got two different hands doing it. And it kind of reminded me of a game that my son was like, hey, Dad, can we pick up this game? And we got this game called Heavenly Bodies, where you're essentially, it's multiplayer. You are a group of astronauts / cosmonauts in kind of 1970s NASA punk sort of style, similar to Starfield in terms of its showing off, but you're just going through without gravity, moving in this 2D 0G space and trying your best to accomplish these missions that you'd imagine would be very, very simple, but are a little bit harder in 0G. And my son and I have been having a lot of fun playing this multiplayer game and having a lot of patience for one another as we can't quite, make our way through some of the stuff that we're doing. It kind of takes a little bit of time. But I'll tell you, after completing each level, I have never felt such accomplishment from a video game in a long time. as I have had with heavenly bodies.
Wow.
And so get the right group together. And so it turns out that my son and I, we're pretty good at collaborating on this. We brought a friend of the show, Matt Dixon, into playing a 3-player game of it, and it devolved into chaos, but also very fun chaos when we stopped like trying to complete everything and just was like, okay, well, yeah, this is where we're at right now.
That looks really fun.
It is so good.
Hey, there's a special promotion happening. It's only $5 right now. It's 75% off.
Yeah, it's like regularly $20, and yeah, we got it on sale, and
nice.
It's super good.
Looks
so,
awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
if you're
go ahead.
If you're interested in playing it sometime, hit me up.
Yeah, for sure,
man.
So links are in the show notes to those who are listening that are interested. And time is ticking, so let's move right along to Devin. Tell us about dark matter, maybe.
All right. So this is an article from Science Alert. It says the Large Hadron Collider may already have detected hints of dark matter. So this is about a theory that some physicists have that's related to certain things that have been happening in the LHC, which are called UFOs, which are not extraterrestrial aircraft, but unidentified falling objects. There are strange glitches in the proton beam of the LHC, sudden beam loss events that physicists are reasonably certain are caused by microscopic dust drifting into the beam. So something happens to the LHC every so often, which is this UFO event, and they're trying to figure out what causes it, but they're pretty sure it is from microscopic dust. But the question is, what shakes loose the dust? It's a very clean environment, of course. It's a very controlled environment. They say you can think of the LHC as a gigantic and extremely delicate Swiss watch. It is built to keep running despite countless small disturbances around it. So at first they thought a piece of dark matter, their idea is a piece of dark matter passing through the Earth tens of kilometers away from the LHC causes a tiny vibration that then dislodges a microscopic piece of dust inside the LHC. If the dust then drifted into the proton beam, it could disrupt the machine and cause a beam loss event. And so why do they think this is the case? So these two physicists have been studying a hypothetical form of dark matter called axion quark nuggets, or AQNs. And so the reason this is interesting, or why they thought there was a connection, is because the specks of dust were estimated to be micron sized, which is about the same size as the AQNs they study. So the size between the two of the particle of dust that's thought to be in the LHC and these things that they're studying are the same size. So that's why they connected them. At first, they thought the AQNs themselves might actually be the things that are interfering with the beam, but that turned out not to be the case. But they thought, well, maybe the AQNs could be the force that dislodges the dust and gets in the way of the beam. So they say, at first we expected to find a relation between the LHC's mysterious unidentified falling objects and dark matter. Later we realized that we were actually putting forward the first proposal to the best of our knowledge to use the LHC to search for microscopic non-elementary dark matter. So it's interesting that the idea is that and it's quite far away from the LHC. So the idea is speculative, but the researchers argue if an AQN passed through Earth within around 100 kilometers or 62 miles of the LHC, the tiny underground acoustic shock wave generated by its passage could very faintly shake the accelerator.
What?
Wow. I know, it sounds insane, because you would think within 100 miles of the LHC, there's cars driving on streets. There's
people,
all kinds
around.
Of things going. Yeah. But apparently, let's see. So these signals the team calculated would be about 5 times stronger than background noise. So however they theorize this, they think that these things would actually cause more disturbance than just the regular things we know about happening on Earth. They would produce a distinctive pattern that scientists could identify as the fingerprint of an AQN event, 3 or more correlated UFOs within 2 seconds of each other at successive points along the 27 kilometer or 17-mile LHC tunnel. They can do this search now with the hardware they have and with this theory. So it's a theory for dark matter, and there are tons of theories for dark matter, but this has a possible way of actually detecting it. So that's kind of what makes it more interesting is we have something built that maybe could actually be used to confirm a theory of dark matter. It says the approach might not be limited to the LHC either. Other particle accelerators, if large enough, could also possibly detect these AQN events. It would meaningfully broaden the landscape of dark matter research. Much of the field has understandably focused on microscopic elementary particles, while macroscopic non-elementary candidates remain comparatively underexplored. So these must be larger particles that they're thinking it might be dark matter. A detection of correlated UFO events would offer compelling support for a macroscopic object explanation and would encourage the community to consider a wider range of dark matter candidates alongside the elementary particle picture. So it's another theory of physics and an interesting thing. Who knows? I didn't know that there were issues inside the LHC with dust getting in the way of the particle beam, but apparently there is.
I figured it was the whole thing was like a clean room, like there was no dust, but I guess you can't get rid of everything.
Well, yeah, I wonder if it's like no matter what, you can never make something 100% completely clean. Right. And if there was a place where that could be done, it would be here, because they're talking about trying to study the smallest possible things in the universe. That's where, if there's ever a place you would need absolute control over the environment, it would be here.
For sure.
So
cool,
yeah.
Man. Well, thanks for that update.
Sure.
The LHC still not destroying the universe. I'd heard that it might.
Yeah, there's always hope.
There's always hope. All right.
Maybe next year.
There's always next year. Maybe when Doomsday comes out, they're gonna be like, "Oh, it's Doomsday." Boom. All right, let's talk some Spider-Man. It's time.
Yeah.
Spider-Man Brand New Day just released, 4th Spider-Man movie starring Tom Holland's Spider-Man. I don't know what number appearance in the MCU this is, because he was in Civil War and the Avengers movies, and I guess that's kind of it. So anyways, I want to do a spoiler talk about this. So if you have not seen the movie yet, please turn off this podcast and go watch the movie. It's really good. It's a really, really good movie. Like one of the best Spider-Man movies ever. Really good. But I want to talk spoilers. So let's see. Devin, you haven't watched the movie, but you also don't care. Ben, you did watch the movie.
Oh yeah, I did.
You also don't care.
And you also don't care.
I care very much, Devin.
Tell me about your experience watching the movie. How did that go?
Yeah. Okay, so I think that I very much liked it.
Mm-hmm.
It was different than most films. Most films, for me, I come out of the theater going, "That was really great. I loved it so much." And then upon thinking about it more, I'm like, yeah, but then there was this thing I wish they would have done differently. And, I get in my own head, right?
Sure.
This was one of those circumstances where immediately coming out of the theater, I thought, that wasn't the best Spider-Man film.
Ooh.
I think that watching it right at that moment, I have a little bit of a trouble with a film that ends and then has another hour worth of stuff to it.
Okay. All right.
And this film had an ending, Jean Grey gets captured.
Spoilers.
Right?
Yep.
Well, yeah. Yes. You already said that.
I know. I like to say it more. It's fun.
And then, it's like, oh, okay, cool. They'll wrap up all the other stuff in another film. well, then we just got the other film for the next hour, which, you know, at first coming out of the theater, I was like, I wish they would have broken this up into 2 films. Now, upon thinking about it over the last, 18 hours since I saw it, you know what? They did the right thing. I enjoy it more upon reflecting on it than I did when I watched it.
Interesting.
Which is very unusual for me. So, yeah.
So some of the highlights I thought from Spider-Man Brand New Day was Peter struggling, right? Like I think this is the first time in the MCU that Spider-Man has truly been Spider-Man. He does not he's not Iron Man Jr., right? He is on his own. He is, creating his own stuff, his own costumes, his own AI, all his own stuff. Cause he's a smart kid, right? He's a real smart kid.
He's probably using local AI.
He is like 100% using local AI like you.
Because he can't afford a Chat GPT subscription. That's not
like, as far as I could tell, like he doesn't have a job or anything. Like he's just Spider-Man, and that's part of the movie is the balance between Peter Parker and Spider-Man. And he was going real hard on Spider-Man, but we need some Peter Parker to come back. The other thing, so that was cool. The integration of other characters in a way that makes sense and not just shoved in the movie was done spectacularly with both Bruce Banner / the Hulk and Frank Castle / the Punisher. Also Jean Grey when we get there.
Yeah, and I feel like there's a few other scenes too, like as well. But I'm running.
I mean, we got like Scorpion and the Wolf, the cop that he's like partnered with for most of the movie.
Yeah.
MJ, Ned, like all the good stuff's there. But particularly, like I was concerned that from advertising that the Hulk or the Punisher would either be in the movie too little or too much. And they were both in the movie the right amount, I think. Yeah. Because Peter Parker / Spider-Man is a superhero with powers, but he tends to fight lower level, street level villains. Therefore, he mixes very well with like Daredevil, Punisher, like those kinds of heroes he does very well with, also with the bigger stuff because he is so powerful.
Yeah, but he also, I mean, like I keep thinking about the long history of comic books where he teams up with the Fantastic Four. You know, he's at odds with the Fantastic Four, then he teams up with them. Sure. And same with the X-Men. Like he joins the X-Men for a bit, you know, and like that. I think that when I compare this film, I mean, like coming into this movie, I was very much like, okay, how does Marvel get you to give a crap about their movies in these days? You know, like what is it? Because I think that the last, since Endgame, with the exception of Spider-Man No Way Home, there's been a very big lack of like, why do you care? And a large part of it is like they don't have enough connective tissue amongst the different things that are going on. Yeah. Like they're there if you hunt for them, but like they either don't.
It's not easy to follow like it used to be.
Yeah. There's something about it, and this one I feel like got back to that. Like it wasn't the Captain America, the new Captain America, which did connect back to Eternals, thank you. But like also how long that was that we got, it's just not there. So anyhow,
their tried and true formula did not keep working beyond Endgame, except for with very few exceptions. But this one, firing on all cylinders. Now, let's talk about mutants, because that's the real thing. The big potatoes of this movie, if you will, is mutants.
And yet they don't call them mutants ever in this entire film.
No, they don't. They're gonna save that specific thing for the X-Men movie, probably.
We need to talk about mutants and how they should be stopped. So it's about time we talk about this.
Well,
I mean, that is what this movie.
They're constantly talking about, and oh man, some of my favorite moments were where Peter, like people look at Peter and go, "You've just discovered a way to rewrite people's DNA and make them into what you want them to be. This is not like what a 20-something kid should be playing with.
Right.
You're playing God." And like this definitely sets up, you know, things that we've seen, like the mutant cure storyline, like
mutant cures, mutant suppression, like all of they are setting this movie, if you're paying attention, sets up a lot for X-Men stories in the future. Just the technology that Peter built for himself is the basis for stopping mutants that have powers, or any enhanced individual. It seems like the way that they were framing it is like this bit of technology that Peter made for himself could be applied to anybody with superpowers in the MCU. That's how it like, it's generic enough that they could use this seed to like do a bunch of different stuff. But mutants being suppressed is a big part of X-Men. So the thing that I noticed in the movie that I hope is what they're doing, because I've heard the X-Men, there's going to be something different about them. Like the MCU's version of the X-Men is not going to be just a copy paste of what they've done before and with, you know, new actors. They're going to do something different. And I think this movie told us what it was. And that is when Jean Grey, right? Sadie Sink's Jean Grey, who has been, you know, signed on for multiple movies and all that. And she did a wonderful job. Throughout the movie, you find out she has psychic abilities, specifically that she can jump into people's heads and control them, and then jump into other people's heads that are within a certain number of feet. And that's how she's doing stuff. And she learned this from her sister, which at the time I was like, Jean Grey's got a sister? Apparently in the comics, she had a sister that died when she was young. There are, you know, with any kind of comic book thing, big grains of salt. I don't know, like if it was a retcon or a reboot or a version of Jean Grey, I don't know. In the comics somewhere, yes, she had a sister. Her sister died, and that was part of her trauma with her powers coming out. So all that's kind of in this movie. But in the end, they've got her hooked up to a machine that's monitoring her brainwaves because they want to see how her brain is working while she's doing psychic stuff, right? Great. Mm-hmm. So then they have her do psychic stuff. And as she's doing her psychic, or they're forcing her somehow to do the psychic stuff, she notices that where they have her happens to be the exact place where her sister died. And it has to do with the VMAX and the air conditioner. And once you see the movie, it all makes sense. But once she realized that, her powers go crazy. And she turns from just being psychic to also being telekinetic. I think what they were telling us is that the way that mutations are going to work in the MCU is all stress-based. You get stressed. If you have this X gene or whatever they're going to call it, if you have the ability to form mutations, the type of ability that you get, how strong it is, and if it evolves further is all going to depend on how stressed out you are in certain scenarios. So in the classic X-Men, right, you have teens when going through puberty and some event happens in their life that is traumatic. That's when their X gene triggers, and now they have this power, right? And it's very kind of cut and dry. Like, you were normal, your X gene was triggered, now you can shoot lasers out of your eyes. Like, boom, boom, boom. That's what it is. Later in the comics, right, years and years later, Grant Morrison, when he did his new X-Men run, he introduced the concept of secondary mutations. That's where you got Beast looking more cat-like. That's where you got Emma Frost turning into diamonds, where she was only a psychic before. I'm sure there's other examples now. So I think what they're going to do, and I'm excited about this, is they're going to say, if you have this X gene, how strong your powers are, what your powers are, if you have more than one power, all depends on the world around you. So Jean Grey was a psychic, and then she found out that her sister was essentially murdered, and that causes her mutation to go crazy and evolve. And they use the term evolve. Like they say in the movie, she's evolving, right? That's the whole thing with mutants, right? They're the next evolution. And then she gains this telekinesis ability where she freezes a bunch of people. They're still awake, they're still alive, but she freezes them in place, and she's holding up glass shards to the other bad guy, and now suddenly she's very, very telekinetic. If they take this idea about how mutants work and that's how they're doing the X-Men, I can't wait for those stories. Because you're going to get like, oh yeah, I'm Beast, I'm really big and I got big hands and feet and I'm smart. And then, oh man, now they're the Sentinels and they're fighting and all, and oh no, I'm not strong enough. And then suddenly he's like a big blue beast looking thing. Cause like this is causing his mutations to go further and change. It also lines up really, really well with Wolverine. One of his mutations is healing, right? And they say that one of the deals with him, the reason why his memory was so shot is because part of his mutation is to erase his traumatic memories to keep him sane. So the more crazy stuff he goes through, he just keeps forgetting, and he's living this long life and forgetting and forgetting and forgetting. And that's part of his mutation. Like that works perfectly in this scenario. A friend of the show, Christina's husband, Greg, I was talking to him about it, and I was like, what if as these, oh shoot, I completely lost my train of thought because I had to remember who I was saying this to. Right. I was on a roll too.
Yeah. But
that's what it was. Magneto. Yeah. So he said the thing about doing a new X-Men movie with a young cast, what do we do about Magneto? Because Magneto is tied to World War II, Nazi Germany, and internment or concentration camps and all that stuff. How do we keep, without having just like an ancient old man, how do we include him with it? And I said, if they're doing this, secondary mutation thing, maybe he evolves to just live longer because his job's not done yet. Or
maybe we look at current internment camps in the United States.
I mean, there's that as well. But I would really,
I don't know.
I mean, sure. The thing about him is that you can't just, it'd be very difficult for the core of who Magneto is as a character to hit that away from Nazi Germany. Like that is such a part of his character. And it was done so well by Ian McKellen. That it's like, that's who Magneto is. And he is the X-Men antagonist, his relationship with Charles Xavier, all that good stuff. So they've got a job ahead of them, but if they're setting up how mutations work as just fundamentally being different, but still being consistent and making sense in some way, I'm super excited for whatever they come up with. Like they needed something new, something fresh. And if this is it, yes, please.
Yeah, I definitely want to also give a big shout out to Tremel Tillman, the actor that you might recognize from Severance.
He was Metzger in this movie. Yeah,
he was just as creepy and wonderful to watch every time he got on screen. Seeing Marissa Tomei again was
that was fun.
As Aunt May was so good. I've got to say that this film, I teared up several times in it. It has moments. Really incredible emotional heart to it that just
they even tag up on Ned and MJ's the effect that Doctor Strange's spell had on them to forget Peter, and they continue that storyline in a way that makes sense. And like I was kind of concerned about that either being hand waved, where he's like, oh, hi guys, I'm Peter Parker. And they go, oh, that's right. We remember now. And then they just go on like how everything was. They don't do that. and that is great.
Oh man, and the moment where they do that, and then you realize what has happened is heartbreaking.
Yeah. Oh, it's good stuff. Yeah, Spider-Man: Brand New Day. I find it being an excellent Spider-Man movie. Progresses the story of Peter Parker. Progresses the story of also the Punisher and the Hulk. Their stories get shifted forward a little bit.
No, well, okay, all right. So I don't understand, and this is something that, like, as I was watching, I was kind of like, okay, given what we've seen about the Hulk in Endgame and in She-Hulk, well, like, what happened to Professor Hulk? Are they just like kind of retconning it, or what?
So it looked like when Jean first took over Banner, he turned into Smart Hulk, but then something broke. And that's when and I think this is labeled Savage Hulk. He was more gray. It looked a lot bigger than Hulk in previous movies. That personality came out. They got to be careful with Hulk from a law point of view, because I think Universal still owns the rights to a solo Hulk movies, which is why we don't have them. He can only be like a side character in someone else's movie. But like this is the first time he's turned into a quote bad Hulk in a long time. Yeah. And there's going to be repercussions for that, I think. So it'll be interesting to see where they go with that storyline. Yeah.
It's unfortunate that they're so tied to colors when the color grading of the entire film goes a lot closer to gray, and I was like,
the movie felt very bright to me. Did you think it felt gray?
It felt like gray with little hints of red, and like it.
Okay.
Yeah, and so when I did not notice that Hulk was grayer than green.
Okay.
It wasn't noticeable.
So
thank you for highlighting it for me.
Yeah, they didn't specifically point it out. He is in darkness when he first arrives, but when he's out in the sunlight, you can see it more. It's one of those things, like, for the comics fans, like, different versions of Hulk are different shades of green and blah, blah, blah. Who cares? But they threw it in there, which is nice.
That's cool.
Even Punisher shooting with a sniper rifle kind of goes back to his first appearance of hunting Spider-Man.
Right.
So like they're still bringing in classic stuff from the comics and kind of giving it a little twist, changing it a bit, all that stuff. I want to play a drinking game next time I watch Spider-Man Brand New Day, and that's every time Punisher goes, that you have to take a shot, because he does that a lot. It makes a lot of those noises, but it's good. And it's like Peter's looking for a father figure, and he found it somewhat in Frank Castle, but not 100%. And because he's getting older, he's getting smarter. Peter is. So he's not just doing everything he says, but he still needs some help from time to time. And I think that's where Frank kind of comes in. I want to see Spider-Man, Daredevil, and Punisher together. I think that would be fantastic. And we got close, but we're not there.
All right, my friends. I have to wrap this one up.
You have to jump. See you later, Ben, because you've got things going on. Devin and I will wrap this one.
Yeah, we'll wrap it now. A bit longer, or okay, if we can wrap it now, then I'm here for it.
We'll wrap it now, Devin. If you're still awake, you got any final thoughts for us?
I don't have any. No.
Excellent. Ben, any last words?
Well, I tripped over the other day, dropped a basket of clothes I just ironed, and my wife watched it all unfold.
Good night, everybody.
This has been the Science Faction Podcast. Tweet to the host at SciFact Podcast. Email them at sciencefactionpodcast@gmail.com and visit sciencefactionpodcast.com for more episodes.